My name is Scott Weatherby. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Eastern Michigan University, and just really excited to welcome you here. Iceman, Gervin family, President Connie, current and former regents, our executive council members, alum, some of our student athletes and coaches are here as well, family and friends. I welcome you to our George Gervin statue unveiling. We are here to honor and recognize one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Yes, and for me, yep. And for me personally, one of the kindest, most humble human beings I have ever met. He is an outstanding human. So, some people ask how we kind of got to this point, and on December 11th of 2021, we celebrated George Gervin Day, and on that day, we had a little surprise from Mr. Gervin, and unveiled to him, with the help of our good friends with Game Above, that we were naming the old Convocation Center after him, and naming it the George Gervin Game Above Center. Doesn't that sound a lot better than the Convocation Center? Absolutely. And I think we got a little eyeball sweat out of you that day, didn't we, huh? It was awesome to see his reaction at halftime, mid-court, and he had no idea that was coming, so it was pretty special. But on that day, I had to explain, had a conversation with a couple of the Game Above board members, that I had actually commissioned 2 sculptures at Mississippi State when I worked there. 2 people you probably recognize in Rafael Palmero and Will Clark, also known as Thunder and Lightning. And when we did that, I said, you know, it would be really neat to create a plaza, a George Gervin plaza, with his statue outside of his arena. And they said, I love that idea, and we should do that. And you can't just sculpt a 17-foot tall statue overnight. And so it's been 20 months in the making. And from that day till now, we've had a lot of people work really, really hard behind the scenes to make this day happen. So I want to do some brief thank yous, and then we'll get on with having a few speakers here. So first, obviously, a huge thank you to Game Above for making this statue and the dedication and reality. And I know we have a few board members here. Could you stand and be recognized, who are board members? Let's just say thank you to them. A couple are hiding, are already standing. So thank you so much. I want to thank members of my staff. They have to put up with me a lot because I'll come out here and say, let's do this. And then the next week we say, let's do that. And then the next week we change again. So this plaza looks like 10 different versions of, and then we finally landed on it. So Cliff Sims, if he's here, and Andy Rowden, my crew kind of hides here in the back, Dan McLean, and all of our athletics facility crew. So they've done a great job. Right up until the last hour, if you even knew what happened yesterday and today, just to make all this happen. I want to thank Stack Rock, who helped do the design. I think Granger's here, who actually, Chris and Jake and the rest of the crew, who managed the project. Harper Electric, who got all the lighting and helped us with the boom lift to get all this off the ground. John and his group. Chris with Ann Arbor Masonry, and our BC painting guys. Roscoe was the man. And then we had some last minute help from Royal Granite as well, so appreciate them. I also want to thank our campus facility folks, who we have had to work arm in arm with over these last 3 or 4 years, and it's just been great. Led by Scott Storer, including Kay Soteric and Josh Tabaka and Chris Grant. They've all done a great job. And then the last one I want to thank is Ben Victor, the actual artist. Ben, we met over Zoom originally. He's from Boise, and it worked out perfectly that we were in the Potato Bowl in Boise, Idaho in December, and The president and Connie actually got to get a little sneak peek of it as well, and so I really appreciate Ben. So can we give it up for everybody that had a piece in this? All right, I know it's warm, so I'm going to get us rolling. So I want to personally thank President Smith and his wife Connie, our Board of Regents, and the rest of the President's staff for supporting the project. Obviously, without their leadership, this unveiling would not be happening. So let's have kickoff today with President of Eastern Michigan University, Dr. Jim Smith. Get out of your hair here.
So I don't look as cool as Scott with sunglasses on, but I will second his notion that I'm not going to be able to see anything if I don't leave them on. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you to the great creator who gave us the day that we have today. George, if you would have been here about 5 days ago, it was raining like the hammers of hell. The wind seemed like we were in, I don't know, the Caribbean in the middle of the world's worst hurricane, and then today we have this. All fitting that we have a day like this for one of our greats. And I do want to follow up with a couple things Scott said. We have some regents that are here. Without their support, days like this don't happen. I see Regent Nate Ford. Nate, wave, stand up, whatever you're comfortable with. I see Regent Chad Newton. He's standing over here. Regent Alex Simpson is here. Regent Dennis Began, Regent Emeritus Dennis Began was here earlier, but I believe he had to leave. I'm going to look and make sure that Dennis isn't standing someplace in the far off. And then Emeritus Regent Roy Wilbanks is here also. So thank you all very much. Thank you for your continued support. Truly, these days happen because of the support that we have at the regental level, and I can't thank them enough for rearranging their schedule and being here with us. Also, the generosity of Game Above. I know we have board members, and we have Sun Chow, and we have Khalid Walton here. Huge thanks to Game Above. It's fun. I have a unique opportunity. Not everybody knows this. I live right, if you went right over Jack Brucewood's head, I live right over that way, and I get to see the Game Above Center every day. I get to see it as it shines at night. I get to see it in the morning. And without Game Above, obviously, we wouldn't be here. But the real factor for today is a man who had tremendous passion, tremendous desire, and absolute extraordinary athletic ability in Mr. George Gervin, the Iceman, as we all know him, and as the figures showed us as we were in the atrium area. And many of you know stories about George, and we're going to see a little bit of here on video, and we're going to embarrass you, George, so you're ready for it, I know. But a story that I like to tell that I've read several times to folks over the years is in 1978, George was competing against David Thompson, again, one of the greats, the Hall of Fame NBA star like George. They were competing for who was going to be the scoring champion in 1978. By the way, it seems like yesterday to me, George. It seems like just a couple days ago this happened. George had to score 63 points in the last game in order to be the champion, the scoring champion for that year. How many points did George score in that game? 63 points. So George not only won in 78, he won in 79, he won in 80, and he won in 82. Now, very few of us in life can say we were the best in our craft once. George was the best in his craft 4 times. 4-time leading scorer and captivated fans for 14 years in his time in professional basketball. The Virginia Squires, some of you will show your age. You, like me, will remember the Virginia Squires, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Chicago Bulls. George had a career of 14 professional years. Again, unheard of for many professional athletes to spend 14 years truly at the top of his game. He still holds the NBA record for most points scored in a quarter, 33. And George didn't say this on the radio yesterday. Some of you heard this radio interview, and he was great. But he didn't say the line, I was screaming to the radio announcer, George, why didn't you say how many would I have scored if they had a three-point line? Imagine what my numbers would have looked like with a three-point line. As A.D. Weatherby said, George is a humble man. He's not nearly as arrogant as the president. I, of course, would have interrupted the interview to say, man, think of what I could have done with that three-point line. We're here to celebrate George, and we've done that by naming the center and now to name a very beautiful sculpture. I have to say I cheated. I got to see it yesterday. I came by as they were mounting it, and I did get to see it, as Scott said, as a little preview in Boise. But one thing that not everyone in the crowd is going to know is that the artist is someone I know very well. Ben Victor was artist in residence at Northern State University virtually during the entire time that I was president at Northern State. Ben left right before my last year at Northern State. He was stolen away by Boise State University. I never did like the place. You know, they stole Ben, and I've never liked them for that. Although I liked the win when we were there. I liked the bowl win. Ben is the only living artist to have 3 pieces in National Statuary Hall in the U.S. Capitol. He will soon, we think in the month of November, have a 4th piece in Statuary Hall. He was 26 years old when Sarah Winnemucca was unveiled for the state of Nevada. And then just a few years later, he did Norman Borlaug in 2014, recognizing the state of Iowa in the hallowed grounds for a sculptor. If you're a figurative sculptor, this is where you want your work to be seen. And then in 2019, Chief Standing Bear represented the state of Nebraska. The real honor of today is that I know both men. I know their skill set, I know who they are, I know what they believe, and above all, I know what good people they are. George truly is one of the most humble men you'll ever meet. I had to do the script about Ben's successes because I know doggone well he won't tell you. And he has that same kind of humble nature, but their talent sets are indeed absolutely outstanding. And one thing that tells you a little bit about Ben and who he is, when he was selected by the Game Above Review Board to do this, I got a chance to call him, and the first thing he said was, my dad's gonna be so excited. He didn't say, hey, Jim, I got another great sculpture gig here. I got an opportunity to work on your campus. Isn't that cool? He said, my dad's going to be so excited. And Ben's dad's 2 rows behind him here. Ben's father was a collegiate basketball player, played professionally in Mexico, and is a big George Gervin fan. So I guess that's why we would say it was really special. So I will stop and say that my job now is to say a video is going to play. Again, what does the president know? I said, Scott, no one's going to be able to see this video board. The sun's going to be out, no one's going to be able to see it. And he said, Mr. President, go on your way. We'll get this thing done. We're going to be able to see it, and it is creatively entitled Sculpting Ice. So please enjoy.
Too cool. Gave me goosebumps. So now let's welcome up all the way from Boise, the guy that sculpted the Iceman, Mr. Ben Victor.
Man, I'm really honored and humbled to be here today. I mean, it's just amazing to meet a hero of mine, a hero of the game. I grew up watching a lot of basketball and trying to emulate the greats. And in my backyard, we'd play on this mini hoop, and we'd pretend, me and all my friends would pretend we were different NBA players. And so George Gervin was on that list. And whenever you were George Gervin, you'd try to do the finger roll just like him and flip it up there. And none of us could ever do it quite like you. So little did I know, all these years later, I'd get this opportunity to honor you and your legacy. And it just means so much to me. I know it means a lot to you. Others told me that Mr. Gervin was in tears when they named the arena here. And I thought about that because I thought about his legacy the whole time while I was working on this sculpture and how special it is. And I've seen sculptures all over the country, as you have, of different NBA greats and different players at their alma maters. And one thing that's bothered me as a basketball player is that sometimes they don't get that motion quite right. And so for me, to get this opportunity and just thinking of doing the best for Mr. Gervin's legacy is everything I could have ever dreamed of as an artist and as a sculptor. And then when I read more as I was working on the sculpture, about everything you've done for your legacy and for the legacy of the youth that's coming up behind you with your school and the education that you've made available to so many kids in the inner city, and to keep those kids out of trouble and to keep them on the right track. It just means so much to me, just like I said in the video, to be a small little part of your legacy. And that's what this is all about. So I thank all of you for being here. And it really is just a dream in my life to be a part of this today. And everybody should celebrate you, Mr. Gervin. Your legacy, it will always live on here. Thank you.
Oh, you just wait till you see it. It's something special. As I stated before, we wouldn't be here today if it were not for the generosity of Game Above. And to speak next on behalf of Game Above is a graduate of EMU who was recently named the president of Game Above at EMU, Chao's son. Chao.
Well, thank you for the introduction, Scott, and thank you for all the guests who come here today. Thank you, President Smith, Dr. Connie Ruth Smith. Thank you for all the regions. And I want to give a special shout out to all our advisory board members who can make it today in person. I see Brett's here, Chris, Zach, Jack, Jillian, Kristen. Thank you so much for you to being here. And I think I definitely missed someone. Thank you for being here. Because our job here, I'm deeply grateful to work with such a talented and dedicated group of people who care deeply about advancing EMU's mission. The work we do here is accomplished by many hands and many minds coming together. So thank you for all to be here. I came to EMU as an international student from China back in 2010. Getting an education here has completely changed my life. Now through Game Above, I want to pay that gift forward by empowering EMU to change many more lives. So our mission at Game Above is very simple: to be number one in everything we do. We aim to inspire excellence and help EMU to reach new heights, just like you did, George. You know us as men for your finger rolls and your smooth moves on the court, and we want to set records just like you did. We want to lead the pack just like you did. We want EMU to be the undisputable champion of higher education. So in just a short time, Game Above has already made a tremendous impact. We invested over $30 million into EMU's programs, scholarships, facilities, and more. We sponsored and aim to be the #1 rated College of Engineering Technology in cybersecurity in the nation. We're looking at you, Dr. Din Katu, Mohammed Katu. We're getting that down. And we, through our initiatives like Student Matter Most and Faculty First grants, we directly change students' lives and our surrounding community. We empowered faculty to achieve new breakthroughs that will transform students' futures. We built and we are building state-of-the-art athletic complex on the campus. But we're just getting started. At EMU, education comes first. So let's keep working to provide every student the tool, the skills, and the opportunities to succeed. Game Above is committed to elevate EMU to new heights of excellence, just like George, you did. You took basketball to a new height. We want to set records, lead a pack, and be #1, just like you, George. Leave no chicken for tonight.
Thanks, Chow. All right, so we would like to now show a video produced by Game Above Entertainment and Front Runner Films, creatively titled The Iceman.
Really on Silas all the way down court. Roden takes
all the way. Gervin,
Oh, I love it. Love it. The cool thing about my job is I get to see the insides of these before everybody else, and I knew that it was so special. It's just an outstanding video. Now I'd like to introduce the president of Game Above Entertainment, who has walked alongside me these last 18 months, helped in all the decision-making process, helped this plaza kind of finish up here. We came right down to the finish line, but we got there, and to be able to have this unveiling. So please welcome my good friend, Khalid Walton.
Okay, all right, thanks, Doc, appreciate it. Greetings to everyone here. Let's just kind of like think about this day here. Could we ask for a better day with the weather? I mean, it's the most perfect day. But how about that video, right? I mean, so many superstars in one video talking about George Gervin. That's amazing. What we truly watch, or what we just watched, is how remarkable of a basketball player George Gervin is. From humble beginnings in Detroit, George has risen to legendary status in the National Basketball Association. He is the Iceman. As he journeyed through the ABA and the NBA from the 1970s to the early 80s, his distinctive style and smooth finger roll were unmatched. His outstanding achievements have solidified him as a true legend to the game. And as you just witnessed, said by who many consider to be the greatest of all time, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, he literally said, if you're not talking about George Gervin as one of the greatest players of all time, you don't know basketball. I think that's true. From Detroit, seeing George Gervin, growing up, my father talking about George Gervin, it's a true statement. Reflecting on George's legacy performances on the hardwood is truly fitting for today. His accomplishments are numerous and undeniable. I'm gonna list them off here, there's a lot, so bear with me. He is a 9-time NBA All-Star, 5-time All-NBA First Team, 4-time NBA Scoring Champion, 3-time ABA All-Star. He is a member of the NBA 50th and 75th anniversary teams, EMU E Club Hall of Fame, Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, College Basketball Hall of Fame, and his jersey, number 44 of the San Antonio Spurs, and the number 24 of EMU are retired and never to be won again by any player for those organizations in college. If you guys get an opportunity, it's right there in an arena. Look up, you see that number 24. However, to limit his legacy to mere stats, awards, and inductions to various Hall of Fames, it's not fair to do that. For many of us who know George closely, his impact on the world is much greater than all of the stats I just listed off. George's success in all areas of life can be attributed to his belief that everyone needs someone. George's true purpose became clear to him after retiring from basketball and lacing up his signature Nike Blazer shoes with the one with the Iceman on the side of them. Yep, we know that. For one last time. As a beneficiary of mentorship programs during his own childhood, he was determined to give back to underserved communities in his adult years. For over 2 decades, he has been a beacon of hope for countless San Antonio and Phoenix youth and adults, impacting their lives positively through his academies and various community programs. George's work has helped students graduate and pursue their passions while also providing care for the elderly during times when they are often overlooked and in need of specialized services. Today, he remains motivated to make a positive impact on the lives of others. So through this ceremony today, we just don't acknowledge George the athlete. We acknowledge all of who George is. His positive influence on basketball, humanity, culture, and society. George, we express our gratitude for your selflessness, giving us hope, and motivating us to serve others. Thank you, George. And finally, the moment we've all been eagerly anticipating has arrived. I'm going to ask President Smith to join us up here. George Gervin, if you and Joyce can join me right here, please. Okay, George, my friend. It feels good to call you my friend, by the way. On behalf of Game Above and the Eastern Michigan University, it is an absolute honor for me to present to you, your family, and the world, the George Gervin statue.
All right, we got to have George come up and say a few words here. How about this, huh? Look at the detail. I got to turn it up here for you.
Oh, well, yeah, some of y'all remember when I was that size. When you start, thinking about an honor, I mean, where do it take you?
That's beautiful, George.
First of all, I like to thank Eastern Michigan. Mr. President, Regents, my man Scott, Stan basketball team. Think about it. This is where I homed in my skills to have an opportunity. So I ain't do it by myself. What you saw was a product of where I came from. And a lot of guys in this audience was a part of that journey for me. Y'all sharpened that jumper. You think about it, I mean, you did, man. Life tough, y'all. And as Khalid said, everybody needs somebody. We can't do it by ourselves. We need each other. To be a part of this university and to have this beautiful statue. Ben, you're detail, man. Detail. I'm handsome up there too. You are. You are detailed, buddy. I mean, but think what Eastern Michigan did for me. I met this woman here her first day of college. Hey, y'all, so, I'm telling how old we both are. But look what she gave me. Right there. George Jr. Come on, stand up, son. Jarrett. And my baby, Tia. This is what Eastern Michigan created for me. I am so thankful, to have an opportunity for this to be my stage. I don't talk about basketball. I let somebody else talk about it. What I talk about is relationships, and the ones that I didn't form over all these years, the ones helped me create programs to where we can have services for others. You know, I'd be foolish not to talk about the one who helped create these programs with me, and that's my baby sister, Barbara. Barbara, stand up. You know, this is what I always say, y'all, and it go back to everybody needs a somebody. She the brains, and I was the brand. See, again, that's teamwork. That's what it's all about. That's what we all here for today. This teamwork. Y'all came here in support of me. You know, that's teamwork. We want to be able to create an atmosphere for this university, but we can have more folks to have these opportunities. You know, you can't talk enough about Game Above and its impact that it had on this university. You see George Gervin up there and see Game Above. You know, Game Above has been tremendous. You know, I got a guy, I'll say the Stone family. It's very special to not just this university, to me. You know, when you get a chance to take a look and see what's written on this statue, you'll see a guy. I've been knowing this old man, y'all. I call him old now because he is 14 years old. He's the first black basketball player to play here at Eastern Michigan. Dr. Robert Sims. Doc, will you stand up for me for a minute? This who was like a daddy to me. See, because I was raised as a single parent. You know, I didn't have a man in my life. Been with him for a long time, and he guided me and showed me a lot of things to how to live and how to appreciate people. Anybody asks you about Dr. Robert Sims, we'll be here all day talking about him. That's how special he is. You know, I like to, you know, also thank Sue Martin, man. I got my doctor's degree here. Wow. Hey, y'all, come on, man. Hey, Tice, from Martin Luther King. You know, this is what I tell people. I say, man, it took you 8 years to get a doctor's degree. It took me 2 hours. Now, how beautiful is that? Now, what kind of love is that? You know, I mean, how special. Again, I'm going back to where we at. That's here at Eastern Michigan University. You know, I see a lot of my high school teammates here. You know, some of my college teammates. There's so many of you guys, man, I want to start naming you because I may, you know, forget somebody, but I love all y'all. You know, I see one of my other pro guys here, Derek Coleman, who wore number 44. You know, I have one of my other teammates who was my rookie, Collis Temple. I ain't forgot about you, Collis. Collis the only guy I know, y'all, he's 6'8" and his arm's about that long. I love him to death, man. Now, you talk about programs. When you go down to Louisiana, that brother got so many programs for kids, y'all. It's unbelievable. So that's what we do. We create services and education for young people, for those disadvantaged. You know, that's where my life is today. You know, that's what I enjoy doing. But again, my wife got her honorary degree here too. You know, me and Joy been married 47 years, y'all. You know, and you know, again, that's what life's all about for me. Here, give me a kiss. Hey, Stan, hey, basketball guys, it's y'all turn. Got time to put the work in. You know, time go by real fast, guys. Now, I've been here a long time ago, man. I'm 71 years old, man. That's how fast time go by. You take advantage, man, of your opportunity here now, man. You know, y'all got great opportunities, man. You got a great coach, you got a great university, and you got a great Game Above arena. Well, I mean, I had to plug that, Doc. You know, I want to mention one of my other friends, too. He grew up with me here. We call him Bull. His name is James Morgan. Big guy, I know it took you a lot to get here. You know, I know you have some health issues, but that's how special our relationship is. You know, and I love you, and you know, you mean the world to me, man. And I really appreciate you coming. You know, Gary Tyson. Tyson, Tyson, you passed that ball to me, man, so long, man, you put me in the hall. You know, but everybody, Willie J, I ain't forgot about you. You know, I know you done jumped out of the gym many times, buddy. You know, Bull, Reed, Johnny Foreman. You know, all you brothers, man, Rob. I saw Rob today and stuff, and it made me think of you, Rob. You always try to block my jumper, and it ain't worked yet. You know, but I love you, man. Dr. Pierce. Dr. Pierce was my doctor, been my doctor for a long time, him and his son. I appreciate you. Guys, I don't want to sit up here and ramble, man, because I know I'll start crying, man, because this honor is unbelievable, man. I mean, it is unbelievable, man. And I am so thankful. You know, it's, wow, man. Hey, y'all, you know, you say it like this. I'm still alive. You know, that's the beauty of it, man. I'm still alive, and y'all are too. You know, I mean, so I love you. Keep doing what y'all doing. That's helping somebody else. And we all have a wonderful place to live. Thank you very much.
Man, I forgot. I should have been saying Dr. Gervin. So, real quick, we want to get some photos with the family, with George, and do some with the president and some of our regents, just real quick, and then we'll let others come up and kind of mingle and say hello, and you're kind of free to do whatever, okay? So let's get a couple pictures, and Steve, I think you're here, can help us out a little bit, and then we'll move the podium, and appreciate everybody.